With only 5 races remaining in the current season, it's usually the time when teams shift their focus to the following year, considering the development race concluded. However, this season deviates from the norm, and I'm excited about it. Since the technical regulations will remain unchanged for the next season, teams can continue introducing upgrades to their cars, knowing that these improvements will carry over to the next year as well. 2 teams situated at opposite ends of the grid are about to make significant changes to their cars. The question is whether these changes will impact their positions in the current season. Let's delve into it. The upcoming Formula One action commences with a 4-race American leg, followed by the season finale in Abu Dhabi. The United States Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas will kick things off, followed by races in Mexico City, São Paulo, and the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix, taking place under the city's famous strip, even in the middle of the night. Speaking of the Las Vegas Grand Prix, it's worth noting that FP2 and qualifying begin at midnight local time, while the race itself is set for 10 p.m. However, we'll return to Las Vegas later, as this event is over a month away. For now, let's shift our attention to Austin, Texas, and the significant upgrades planned for the Haas and Mercedes cars. Haas is set to introduce a completely new B-spec, given that the development of their previous concept came to a halt earlier this year. It's not often we discuss Haas, but it's always intriguing when we do. But first, let's delve into the substantial upgrades Mercedes has in the pipeline. Mercedes has experienced a season that falls short of their high expectations. Having tasted victory throughout the 2010s, they usually aim for championship contention every year. However, this season, they've been nowhere near Red Bull in terms of performance. While they've made improvements relative to Ferrari, they have made no progress compared to Red Bull and now McLaren. Their struggles can be traced back to 2022, which disrupted their season, and this year, they've addressed the symptoms rather than the underlying issues. We would like to eliminate these issues, remarked James Allison. Several teams are still grappling with some bouncing, which can vary depending on wind or weight conditions. Given the nature of ground effect cars, the risk of porpoising remains a consideration during car design and setup. Interestingly, it's primarily Mercedes who have raised this concern this season. In Austin, Mercedes will unveil a completely redesigned floor. This new floor will expand Mercedes' operational range concerning downforce generation at various ride heights. Toto Wolff admitted, "Last year, we designed a car that had to adapt to excessively low ground clearances. This year, they are too high." They believe they now have a better understanding of what to choose. In addition to enhancing the car's performance, Mercedes technical director, James Allison, hopes this design shift indicates that they are moving in the right direction. He optimistically stated, "Hopefully, it will translate into improved lap times, which is always beneficial. However, this is primarily a valuable indicator of whether we are on the correct path. In terms of lap time improvements, the gains will be modest. It's a useful benchmark, but we shouldn't expect to outpace Max Verstappen." What's slightly concerning about this statement is that it reveals Mercedes' ongoing struggle to align their design and factory testing with real-world performance. Teams constantly strive to conduct all their testing digitally and in wind tunnels, to ensure that new components added to their cars result in noticeable improvements. Introducing a new floor entails a substantial investment in terms of money, research, testing time, and production costs. When Mercedes states that they are using the new floor to validate their direction, it raises concerns because this is an expensive method for ensuring they are on the right track. Ideally, these validations should be taking place within the factory. The upgrade does not focus on enhancing performance at specific types of tracks or addressing various areas in which the W14 Mercedes car needs improvement. Nonetheless, it's a critical upgrade due to how current Formula One cars utilize the ground effect to generate downforce. James Allison commented, "I believe that much of our current challenges are reasonably well understood, and we are actively working on rectifying them. However, whether these fixes will materialize on the car and prove successful remains to be seen over time." The upcoming United States Grand Prix is a sprint race, which means Mercedes has only one session to fine-tune their new floor and configure their setup for the entire weekend. It's a challenging task, and one can only hope they are up to the challenge. Now, let's shift our focus to Haas, who is about to follow the example set by Mercedes earlier in the season. This American-owned team has been an outlier by sticking with the in-wash side pod solution introduced by technical partner Ferrari at the start of the new regulations era. However, with Ferrari abandoning the in-wash concept at the Spanish Grand Prix and Mercedes ditching its zero pods from Monaco, Haas remained the sole team not adopting the downwash concept that Red Bull has utilized effectively. This is about to change in Austin, as Haas is planning a major upgrade that will involve a redesign of its side pods. The decision to change their approach was made before the summer break, prompted by the team's realization that they had reached a performance plateau with their current car. Team principal Gunther Steiner stated, "Our main issue with the current concept was that we couldn't find any more performance. We've been developing it the whole year, and there has been no improvement. At some point, you need to try something different, instead of banging your head against the wall, as others were making gains." Haas's inability to find performance gains with their existing concept led them to hold off on spending their 2023 budget on manufacturing upgrades. This decision left room for funding the changes planned for Austin. Steiner added, "Our original plan was to introduce more upgrades with the current concept. But since we weren't seeing any performance gains, we didn't introduce upgrades this year. Making car parts doesn't make sense if the car isn't getting faster. So, since we haven't spent that money, we can now allocate it to this significant upgrade." It's great to see Haas displaying this level of ambition. They had a relatively successful start to the season, securing 3 points finishes in their first 5 races. However, since then, they've managed to secure just a single point in Singapore and 3 points from the Austrian sprint race, which proved insufficient to retain their 8th place in the standings. They lost that position to Alfa Romeo in Qatar, and it's safe to say that Gunther was more than relieved to bid farewell to the VF23 after the checkered flag in Qatar. The final race with this specification turned out worse than expected. That's why we're eager to see the end of the VF23 in Austin, which will undoubtedly bring a smile to Gunther's face. Their Operation Upgrade comprises 3 B-spec car kits, featuring new side pods, underbody, cooling shafts, cooling gills, engine cover, brake linings, and heat shields. It's been such a long time since Haas last upgraded their car that they've essentially had an entire off-season's worth of time to develop these improvements. The team made a bold decision during the summer break, acknowledging that there was nothing more they could do with the old car. Instead, they opted for a mid-season overhaul. While the timing of these upgrades might appear unconventional, it holds crucial importance for Haas, for 2 key reasons. Firstly, they aspire to improve their lap times as quickly as possible, especially given that Alfa Romeo has surpassed them in the World Championship standings, and Williams isn't too far ahead in 7th place. Points translate to rewards, and any higher placements in the Constructors' Championship mean more resources for the upcoming year. Secondly, the engineering team aims to gather valuable insights for the 2024 season with this package. They want to understand what works and what doesn't, and how closely the real-world performance aligns with the CFD numbers and wind tunnel data. With just 1 practice session available in Austin, fine-tuning the car for a competitive weekend is an immense challenge. Chief Race Engineer, Io Komatsu, has realistically stated that they shouldn't anticipate a dramatic surge in performance akin to McLaren's. Kevin Magnussen, who secured his only point in the last 12 Grand Prix in Singapore, expressed his contentment regarding the upcoming upgrade. "I'm excited about it," said the Dane. "It's a positive development for the team, offering new tools to work with, and hopefully, they can unlock more performance." Do you believe Haas can make a significant leap in performance with these upgrades? As for Mercedes, do you have faith that their new floor will yield improvements? I'm eager to hear your thoughts and perspectives. Please share them in the comments section below. Also, remember to subscribe to the channel for notifications on our future uploads, ensuring you stay informed about the developments in the 2023 Formula One season.